What up, y'all? I know not everyone feels like listening to a 40+ minute poll plans video for the month, so I broke it up to abbreviate my thoughts in a more easily digestible way. I know half of y'all, though, ain't subscribed, so go ahead and do that. Like the video, leave a comment with what you think about the upcoming content and your plans as well. And if you want to see the whole video, I'll be providing a link to that as well. Check that out for sure. Thanks a million, and now let's get into what you're really here for, alright? 9 Lost Chapter. What a doozy this one is. Let me cover the better character first, 9. Yeah, I'm coming out the gate. Fujin's trash, and I'll go into that in a bit. But 9, usually the returning character gets shafted a little on their Lost Chapter, but in this case, 9 is a lot better than Fujin. With his LD boards, he now recovers a use of his skill 1, which is pretty handy. It makes starting with him awkward with the free skill and then wanting to get the LD buff up as soon as possible. It's weird, but I'm sure someone will figure out an optimal way to do that. Anyway, he becomes a lot more competitive. He gets brave damage resist for the party, so his shields are thicker, more attack up, brave damage up on his transformed LD buff after you take an HP attack, and crit rate up as well. All this in one nice package for 9, and he hits a ton harder too due to some other changes that I'm not going to go deep into because numbers are irrelevant. He gets good upgrades, and he has some super competitive auras that are actually better than Bartz. I've been talking to Inkwalder about this, and it's actually kind of funny the way that Bartz is being hyped, and I don't want to talk too much about Bartz talking about 9, but it is relevant. From an LD only perspective, if you only got Bartz LD and you only got 9 LD, I'd much rather have 9 in my party to make my party do more damage and cover more roles specifically, you know? And that's something that should be talked about. His first call is skill 1, which drops the shield, the brave damage shields. I think this is the first shield call we have, yeah, because Warrior Light ain't out yet. And his LD call drops the HP damage block. So you got a pocket anti-HP damage, which is pretty good as well. Additionally, it retains the same effect where after you take the HP damage, you get buffs afterwards. So these are really good calls. His high armor is Unity, and he leans brave damage in his high armor plus. So if you're really trying to make the party hit harder and hit those high brave caps, 9's the one to max out. Seriously, he's really, really good. He just wasn't in a lot of YouTube videos, you know, so the hive mind ain't around it right now, which is honestly, as usual when that happens, pretty whack. And now it's time to get really provocative, talking about Fujin, aka probably the worst unit. I might even hazard to say this is the worst LD in existence now that they fixed Sarah. Yeah, I'm going there. No rework around these parts, but Fujin did get an LD, right? You ready? It's really exciting. Fujin's LD, she does a double split wind HP attack, and she gets a new buff that gives the party 20% attack. I'm giving numbers here to just show how insignificant it is. 20% attack, gain is stolen overflows, and after she hits weak damage, she batteries the party for 30% of Embrave. That's it. That is it. It didn't really change her up. They didn't bother giving her weak damage. They didn't really improve on anything she just did. And they gave her a basic attack plus 20 to the party. That's it, bruh. This is trash. Both her calls have wind enchant, right? This is where I complained about the hot take going around. Fujin is being said to be, oh, she pairs really well with Bartz. Let's break this down, shall we? I'm talking way too much about Bartz on 9's Lost Chapter, but it is what it is, because we just got to talk about it. It's relevant. Bartz gains Aura Wind Imperil on his rework, right? Not on his LD, on his rework. So whenever Bartz is on the field, the enemy is already automatically weak to wind, and it's not on a debuff, it's an aura. In Imperil immune fights, if you enchant the party with Fujin, this will theoretically allow the entire party to hit weakness damage. Therefore, wow, bring Bartz and Fujin together so you can hit weakness. Let's think about it some more. When would this be practical over not bringing a real enchanter? Imperil immune fights, right? Getting closer now. How many Imperil immune fights are there going forward? Here comes the hype. Ready? Bartz's LD and burst event. 1 wave of Boss Rush 4 with Tifa in it. Chaos Bahamut where Eldnars gets his burst, and Tidus's Heretic, whatever, where he gets his LD and burst. That's 4 fights in the somewhat immediate future that this might be relevant, and that's not even thinking about if you could just do something else, which you definitely can. Please do not pull Fujin to go with Bartz. This is horrible advice. One of those things that sounds really, really good if you're talking to a bunch of people who don't know what they're talking about, but in reality, you're much better off spending your resources probably just going for Bartz's burst on Tifa's banner, okay? I usually don't like to give a hard stance because I just like to put info out there and tell you guys what I'm thinking, but I think pulling Fujin just for Bartz is legitimately just dumb, okay? Full stop. Her LD isn't even good. And if you have to take up 2 slots on the team just to take the imperil and enchant role when you could just bring a full enchanter, when imperil immunity isn't really a thing, and even in niche cases you can just work around it anyways, when you could spend those resources better elsewhere, it's just ugh. If you're on this banner, you're pulling for 9. Let me just say that. Unless you're a Fujin stan, and shout out to you, enjoy your character. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy your character, but if you're gonna pull anyways, why do you care what I have to say on it? All right, do what you want to, pull Fujin through a bunch of Lufenias. I actually just don't care. For the rest of the population who is on the fence and doesn't know how to make up their minds, let me tell you now, Fujin plus Bartz is a meme combo. It is effective, don't get me wrong, but not the best use of your resources in my opinion, okay? Anyone promoting this, ask them 1, are they going to do it themselves? 2, where? 3, hold them to it, okay? Skin in the game, always. If my opinion on Fujin isn't clear, I'm clearly not going to pull for her. I think she is probably, arguably, the worst LD in the game at this point, and I wouldn't advise anyone on the fence to go for it. Nothing's stopping her from being used, don't get me wrong. I just think you're better off elsewhere. If you're pulling on this banner, you want 9 or you want Golbez's burst, all right? Fujin is a consolation prize at best and maybe a call, but you do not want to focus on this, full stop. It's just bad. 9, however, he hits a lot of future orbs. HP damage reduction on Transcendence 3, Brave damage reduction on Boss Rush 5. He's got a C slot, so you could throw an HP regen sphere on him for Transcendence 3, the final phase, and something else that I can't think of at the moment. Ranged Brave damage in Transcendence 5. Critical Brave damage in Transcendence 5. Critical and range on Arenea's Lost Chapter. Range damage on Kane's Intertwined Will and Fran's Story 3.5.2. Like, 9 has a lot of coverage. Fujin, meanwhile, yeah, I'm going there. Worst LD. Fight me. Usable, but those upgrades are just pathetic. I'm probably throwing tickets for 9. I like this character. He's Daisuke Ono, Jotaro from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3. I always enjoyed the Aura. Solid character. I got good use out of him personally in Transcendence 4, where we needed range damage for the Aura, and you also needed crit to satisfy a condition, and 9 worked really, really well there. So yeah, he's got definite value. I'm on the 9 train, but Fujin, again, I know people are hyped for Bartz and not knowing exactly why they're hyped for Bartz, but don't try and pull Fujin just to buff Bartz. It is a massive mistake. Pull Fujin because you really want Fujin. Don't pull Fujin for Bartz, okay? I think I've nailed that in enough. Hopefully I upset some people. Oh Lord, don't get me started on this fight. This fight is stupid, and it fits the doomer's fantasy of this game being doomed. Again, this fight's gonna annoy people for right reasons, but it's not the norm. But this fight is definitely stupid. God, why did they do this? So the orb is to hit element weakness, right? Oh, we have a lot of enchanters. That should be cake. Fujin's the enchanter. You know, they're selling her, but we can bring any enchanter to get around it. Wrong. Guess what else happens? If you don't hit him with wind or darkness, if you hit him with any other element, you get blown up. This includes attacks that include said elements. So Vivi, who is fire and dark, Xande, who does fire, dark, earth. If they have dark in there, but it also includes another element, gone. So you gotta use those elements, or it's just GG. This fight sucks. I also forgot to mention that the boss is immune to. This boss sucks. It's immune to paralyze, taunt, lock, HP silence, and terror. So sorry, Eldnarsh. It's also magic resist. So if you're not using Golbez with his dark abilities, and if you're not using Fujin to enchant someone with magic, either via her calls or in the party, then it's gonna be a rough time. And I'm sure it'll be some people's first time seeing the actual mechanics, because you know Noctis was energy last time, and people got boshed because he was popular and had those auras and was meta, so they didn't really see any danger. But now you gotta deal with the fight, bro. And it's not a good time. The main dude gets HP damage reduction while 2 of the ads are active, so it's in your best interest to kill one of the ads. I think actually the orb is active on one of the ads. It's just a mess of a fight. They can inflict, what was it? It's either stop or it's a EX stop, where you can't charge your EX gauge after using a skill, which is obnoxious. They like their HP attack happy. Thankfully, you can no turn them with like Terra and Yang and enchant them or something like that. I know Airlines was a possibility here, and I explicitly remember trying to run this Airlines myself on JP and failing badly. 1, because I suck. 2, because I especially suck at Square Enix Airlines. And 3, because it wasn't exact. And I remember talking to VL about it around the time. I think I did. Maybe I'm imagining that conversation. But it was not exactly easy to pull this off. So this fight is very toxic. And a lot of people just opted to just go Golbez, Fujin 9, just straight up synergy for this fight. Or just, Golbez can solo handle the orb. You can do some call shenanigans and stuff. But man, this is not a good fight. And not really just tragic and toxic. Do what you gotta. But this is probably the peak of the devs limiting what we can run here. But thankfully it feels after this month, they fired the guy who didn't want us running teams and got lazy. And the way to shut people out was just not let you use stuff. That largely stops after this month. So hold on, guys. We're almost to a good period. All right. But as for me, who I'm gonna run, man, in JP, I ran Golbez, 9, and Trey. And in GL, I'm probably gonna run Golbez, 9, and something, because this fight sucks. Ain't no way I'm trying to get creative on this one. Get it done and get out of there. You feel me? Oh, and just one more. Fujin's still catching strays. You can do this fight with just EX plus Fujin. You don't even need her LD to do it. That's how little impact her LD has. All right? It's just, man, what a disappointment. But that's enough. Oh, and one last thing I forgot to bring up, reruns. 9 has not rerun at this point in JP at the moment, and Fujin has rerun on Shulk from Dirge of Cerberus. She is on that banner, so Fujin will be even worse by that point, so if you're interested there in her as consolation, I guess, but And that's it. Hope you all enjoyed the clip and found it informative. I do try my best, generally. If you haven't already done so, please like the video, comment what you think and your plans, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more great content. The full video is linked, so check that out as well. Continue showing love. Good luck, everybody. Peace.